This world is inherently unfair, and it doesn't need to be fair to exist. Some people are born already at the finish line, wrapped in money, power, relationships, and dense backing networks. As for you, you wake up in a rented room, open your eyes to the worries of food, clothing, and money, and live in a society that operates on the cruel principle of elimination. More terrifyingly, this is an era where speed kills procrastination, and procrastination will kill your entire life. Do you think you have plenty of time? Do you think being just diligent enough, just kind enough, is enough to live? Sorry, that's not how it works. All rules are being rewritten, values are reversing, and opportunities are not for the obedient, but for those who know how to adapt, how to transform, how to plunge into the dark zone when others are still afraid. Don't ask why we have to strive every day. Rather say that if you don't strive, what do you have in your hands? No assets? No skills? No foundation? Who do you think will come to save you when the whole world is racing for survival? This is no longer the era of people who graduate and then wait, but the era of people who act without needing anyone's nod. You either do it or get left behind. There is no third option. Welcome to the hidden self, where there will be truths society doesn't want you to know. You are at the very last starting line. If you want to catch up, you have to grit your teeth and run. You were born already defeated. Don't delude yourself. Some kids are born already lying on VIP seats, while we are still bending our backs paying off household registration debts. You have no money, no connections, no foundation to cling to. So, do you think you deserve to rest on par with those who were born hundreds of meters ahead of you on the racetrack? They are 300 meters, even 700 meters ahead of you. Some were born at the finish line, while you have nothing. Sorry, you might even be in the negative.
To be equal to them, you not only have to run, but have to grit your teeth and surge forward. Even if it means bleeding, tearing flesh, or breaking nails, you cannot stop. Yet, when you see others go out drinking, you go out drinking. When you see others playing games until 2 a.m., you try to play until 4 a.m. Wake up! They have roots and backups. What do we have? They work 8 hours, you also work 8 hours, and then complain about being tired. Being tired is understandable, because you thought this was a stroll. No, this is a survival race, my friend. And in this race, tiredness is not a reason to stop, but a sign that you are still too weak. Life is an F1 racetrack. On a straight track, a weak car will never overtake a strong car. To overtake, you have to wait for the curves. At times when others hesitate, are afraid, or slow down, you dare to steer, to commit, and to speed up. Only then do you have a chance. But if you continue to live by the what others do, I do mentality, then I'm sorry, you will forever be inhaling the dust of others. Because besides you, there are millions of others who are also smart, capable, and running. You are not the center of the universe. You are just an individual in society's ruthless culling. And if you don't do double or triple what others do, you will be left behind. It's not because you're not good, but because you're not fast enough. The rich are not rich because of luck. They smile while you are still complaining. Elon did not get rich by luck. He did not sit and wait for opportunities, but cleared land, paved roads, and sowed every seed in the desert. In early 2020, he was still somewhere in the top 30 richest people in the world. But just 1 year later, his assets increased by more than $100 billion. That's not a joke. That's the result of daring to bet on things that the whole world was still shaking its head in doubt about, like electric cars, self-driving cars, reusable rockets, sending people to Mars. Things that seemed only to exist in sci-fi movies, but he dared to jump in before anyone else could understand what was happening. You ask why his stock surged, even though those industries were not yet profitable.
Because people are fed up with old things, tired of monotonous stability. Society craves something groundbreaking, a daring and unique direction, but one that could be the key to the future. In a world depleting resources, immersed in pollution, war, epidemics, and an aging population, people no longer believe in old empires like Ford or Mercedes. Because even if you remake gasoline cars for 10 more generations, it's still something that's being phased out. Wealth today does not come from doing well what others have done for hundreds of years. Wealth today is daring to choose a path no one else takes. And if you still think safety is a smart strategy, then I'm sorry, you are outdated. The market does not reward mediocre diligence. It only invests in those who dare to trample on old paths to build a new world. You sit there analyzing and waiting, thinking you'll act only when you fully understand, while others have already acted yesterday. And now they're sitting on piles of money, watching you still typing up plans in Google Docs. Wake up! The rich don't sit and complain, "Why is society so unfair?" They turn that unfairness into a stepping stone. What about you? Are you still busy blaming the world, or have you started working? The future belongs to those who know how to seize danger, not to those who sit and lament. An epidemic doesn't just kill people, it also exposes the true nature of each individual. Who lives and who dies is sometimes not due to luck, but due to their reaction. In danger, there is opportunity. However, only those who dare to think, dare to adapt, and dare to change can see the opportunity. For those accustomed to living in their comfort zone, danger is a self-inflicted death sentence. Have you ever thought about what a small bread cart with little capital, no brand, and no storefront could do? Yet when entire chains of large restaurants had to close due to the epidemic, a street bread vendor dared to turn his 10-meter-squared rented kitchen into an online bread workshop. No rigid menu. Customers want low-fat pork floss? Make it. Customers want pâté without onions? Make it. The result? He sold 300 loaves a day. That means when the market collapsed, he still grew by several 100%. Meanwhile, hundreds of grand brands went bankrupt.
Sometimes it's not because they were bad, but because they were lazy to change. They sat there, clinging to standard procedures, old models, traditional values, and waited for the market to return to how it was. They didn't die from the epidemic, they died from arrogance. This is a world not for dreamers who think everything will be okay. It won't be okay. No industry is safe forever. The tourism industry once made a lot of money. Now tour guides have to drive taxis. Transportation was once a gold mine. Now cars are covered in dust in parking lots. Coffee chains that once dominated storefronts have now become ruins. The truth is, only those who know how to pivot, how to adapt, how to accept losses to survive, are the ones who remain. If you want to survive, stop asking, when will the crisis end, and start asking, what can I do right now? The future is not for moaners, not for those who wait slow-footed. It only favors those who shed their old skin and are rolling forward where no one dares to step. If you want a future, then step out of the victim mentality. Otherwise, you will be the first to be eliminated. The saying, "In danger there is opportunity," is not for the lazy, and certainly not for those accustomed to living in the illusion that someone will come to save them. This world does not operate on compassion. It operates on elimination. And the epidemic is just a small dress rehearsal for something even fierce awaiting. Can you survive? Not because you deserve it, but because you adapt fast enough. The story of the online bread vendor mentioned above during the peak of the lockdown is an example. He had nothing. No strong capital, no brand, no storefront. But he had one thing: an open mind and feet that didn't stay still. While large restaurants were slowly dying, waiting for the epidemic to end, he delivered every loaf of bread customers requested, changing fillings and flavors according to market fluctuations. And while everyone else was still studying digital transformation, he already had enough money to rent a kiosk and open a central kitchen.
Many others, meanwhile, might still be filling out 5-year plans in Excel files. Do you think this world operates on logic?
No, it operates on fierce competition. Economist Malthus once said that humans will always compete to the point of killing each other to survive. When resources are depleted and there isn't enough land for everyone, some will be eliminated by war, by epidemics, by global shockwaves called crises. And you won't be able to survive just because you are gentle or obedient. You only exist if you are stronger, faster, and more ruthless than those who remain. So if you are still hoping for a humane, compassionate world that waits for you to grow up and finish studying before giving you an opportunity, then I'm sorry. You lost right from the moment you misplaced your trust. This is the world of those who act before others can even understand what is happening. War, epidemic, disaster, these are nature's culling mechanisms. This world is certainly not fair, and it doesn't need to be fair, because fairness does not create evolution, elimination does. And that is why Thomas Malthus, over 200 years ago, was ahead of his time when he asserted that competition is a human survival instinct. When the population grows faster than resources, some people will be eliminated. Not because they are bad, but because they are weak. History has proven this countless times. World Wars I and II were not just political conflicts, but also the result of a crisis in resource distribution among empires. Those not strong enough to claim their share would die in bombings or poverty. In the 21st century, one might have thought humanity would be more civilized. But COVID-19 reminded us of a stark truth. An invisible virus can bury an entire economy and wipe out the careers of hundreds of millions of people in just a few months. No war, no guns needed. Just a small variant in the biological system is enough to reset what is called social order. And what's more terrifying is that it doesn't choose good people or bad people to survive. It only chooses those who adapt faster. Whoever is slow-handed, slow-witted will be pushed out of the game. Whoever is accustomed to living by the belief that everything will be okay will become humanitarian waste in the great chaos. Look at the data during the pandemic. Amazon, Apple, Tesla not only survived, but also became hundreds of billions of dollars richer.
Meanwhile, millions of small businesses collapsed. Millions of workers lost their jobs, not because they were unlucky, but because they were weak. And the weak will be swallowed. That's how the system operates. War, epidemic, disaster are not unusual. They are nature's tools to filter, to clear the way for a stronger generation. Don't expect this world to be gentle with you. It has no such responsibility. You only have two choices: get stronger or be erased from the map. Without fanfare, stability is an illusion. Don't be mistaken that a job with a 10 million Vietnam Dong salary is a stable harbor. It's a trap. It's sweet, safe, and comfortable enough to lull you to sleep until the world changes and you don't even have time to open your eyes. There's a brutal truth. In this era, if you're still relying on a 10 million Vietnam Dong government job, waiting for a promotion to benefit your whole family, then you have put yourself on the slow extinction list. No one calculates by salary anymore. They calculate by income, by the ability to exploit external sources, by the ability to capitalize on oneself. You live in a world where everyone wants to develop, everyone wants to survive, but not everyone is willing to pay the price. If you have no capital, no market mindset, no self-discipline, then you are just a pawn waiting to be replaced. The mindset of ask your grandparents for a stable job as long as you have a fixed position is dead. It was true, but that was back when our country had just emerged from war. The economy was centrally planned, and stability was a privilege. But now, stability is a luxury, an excuse for you not to face the truth that you can't do anything else. Just look at society. The highest earners today are not government officials. They are people who dare to step outside their comfort zone, start startups, freelance, invest, do multi-channel business, create digital content, leverage AI, etc. They don't wait for anyone to open doors. They break down walls and walk through. While you still tie your life to a desk job, waiting for monthly wages, they have created an ecosystem of unlimited income. Do you think working 8 hours is enough? Sorry, many people started when you were still asleep.
And when you drag yourself home at 6 p.m., they are still sprinting until 2 a.m. Not to show off, but to make up for the starting gap. You were born without a foundation? Well, no one cares. This is a race, my friend, not a charity camp. Some people are born at the finish line, while you might not even be at the starting line yet. On top of that, you live by the mentality of, if others go drinking, I'll go drinking too. Then don't ask why you can't catch up. This world is not for those who dream of stability. It is for those who understand that to survive, you must always be active. Always find ways to increase your self-worth. The so-called waiting for the right time is now outdated. Don't hope for rusty wages and dwindling bureaucratic positions. Every old behavior, every hidden shortcut is being exposed in the era of data transparency. And you won't be able to survive if you still think you can cheat. Stand up, act. No one owes you an opportunity. And this world won't care how hard you tried if your result is still zero. If you want to rise, start by doing twice as much as others, by cutting all illusions about stability and accepting a stark truth. You only have two choices: evolve or be eliminated. There is no third option. School teaches you things that are unusable. The real world teaches you with a slap. You graduate from university clutching a pile of 400-page textbooks and enter life with a good diploma, and then you are unemployed. It's not because you're stupid, but because what you were taught sometimes has no practical use. Let's be frank. You spend 4, sometimes 5, 6 years of your life diligently studying subjects or content like the history of global trade flows, analyzing the balance of imports and exports in the late 20th century, or the commodity links between Vietnam and the former Eastern Bloc. Sorry, but this is 2025. Does looking up how many tons of rice Vietnam exported to the global market in the early 90s still provide any value to you? You can Google it in 3 seconds. Meanwhile, things society needs you to have, like sales skills, digital mindset, running ads, data analysis, building customer funnels, are perhaps not taught to you at all.
Many top economic universities in Hanoi, like Foreign Trade, National Economics, and Commerce, don't even have a single course on practical sales skills. Here, they still rehash old models, still use curricula from 10 or 20 years ago as standards, still train students as if the world out there hasn't changed at all, while the modern economy needs people who know how to do things, not just talk. So don't blame why graduate students are always confused, why young people are lost, why the more degrees, the higher the unemployment. Education isn't broken, it's just standing still. But the world is running and you are stuck between the two, being pushed to the edge of a cliff. Real life will teach you a slap to your naivete, a slap to the illusion that having a degree guarantees you a position. No, it doesn't. The truth is, this real world is brutally crushing you little by little. And only when you wake up will you understand that learning in school is one thing, but learning to survive is another. The poor get poorer, and the rich get more money and power. You think poverty is a state? No, poverty is a vortex. Once you fall into it, if you don't break free early, you will be sucked down to the very bottom. This society no longer operates on a 3-tiered system of rich, middle class, and poor. The middle class is gradually losing what was once considered stable, enough to live, educated, and with some assets. Now, they are the most vulnerable group in every crisis. COVID-19 is a vivid example. The rich have more assets, capital, technology, and global networks. They contract, defend, and then bounce back stronger. The extremely poor, perhaps already poor, have nothing left to lose. But the middle class, which has a bit of capital and a bit of education, gets smashed because they are neither rich enough to withstand nor poor enough to receive support. They are the squeezed cushion in the wheel of history. And that is the tragedy because they themselves once thought they were stable. But now, no one asks what kind of diploma you have or what school you graduated from. The market only looks at how much value you create, how much financial power you hold.
Can you live for 6 months without a salary and still be stable? If not, then I'm sorry, you are temporarily poor. And that temporary will very quickly become permanent if you continue to live with the mindset of enough to eat, enough to spend. The rich don't just have money, they have systems. They own platforms, from cash flow companies to data and technology. As for you, you work for them, dedicating 8 hours a day of labor in exchange for an income of less than 20 million VND, and you think that's it. No, it's not over, because the money you earn today is losing value every day, while their assets increase every hour. You don't lose your job, but you are losing the opportunity to change your life. And once lost, it's very difficult to get back. So stop thinking that being poor is acceptable or that living minimally is an option. In a world where 10% of people hold 90% of the assets, if you don't rise up, you are falling behind. And those who fall behind are not pitied. They will just be left behind without warning and without turning back. Not working is certain death. Not learning is digging your own grave. We're living in a very strange era. Never before have opportunities been so wide open, and never before have so many been left behind. You can sell without a storefront, work globally without a passport. You can earn hundreds of millions each month with just a phone. All of this is true. No need to ask anyone, no need to wait for anyone, and no need for acquaintances to lead the way. The question is, are you willing to learn? Are you willing to work? Or will you still sit there glued to games until 3 a.m. and then wake up screaming that society is unfair? We're entering an era where speed kills the slow. It's not science fiction. It's taking away every job you thought was safe. Salespeople, accountants, office workers are being replaced by algorithms. And you still believe that after graduation, you'll have a place. You're living in a fairy tale. And fairy tales always end with someone waking up and someone staying asleep forever. If you don't know marketing, you lose. If you don't know technology, you also lose.
No sales skills? You lose too. No ability to learn fast, work fast, pivot fast? You lose as well. And once you've lost, don't expect the society to reach out and save you. It's busy training another class of people who are faster, more ruthless, and more practical. The most terrifying thing is not that you are poor, but that you are poor and still lazy, poor and still deluding yourself, poor and still waiting for someone to pity you. No one will pity you. This world has no place for kindness towards the weak. It only rewards those who wake up and rise up on their own. To survive, you have no choice. You must learn, you must work, you must accelerate. You must immerse yourself in something until your hands are torn and your brain is tired. Then perhaps you will have enough strength to climb out of the hole called the bottom of society. This is not advice. This is a survival warning. If you don't work, you will certainly die. If you don't learn, you are digging your own grave to bury yourself. No one is shooting you. You are pulling the trigger yourself. Don't die because of laziness, because of naivete, because you keep thinking tomorrow is still enough time. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be a genius. You don't need to have a golden starting point. But you must act. And if you still sit there comforting yourself that you'll start tomorrow, then I'm sorry, you are digging your own grave, one stroke at a time. This world doesn't ask what your dreams are. It only looks at what you can do. And no one pays for cuteness, no one supports laziness. Where you stand doesn't matter as much as whether you are willing to keep moving forward. Are you poor? It's okay. But if you're lazy, you'll be eliminated. If you're slow, you still have a chance. But if you don't learn, don't dare to act, then consider yourself erased from the game. Finally, If you are still wondering why you have to strive every day, then look in the mirror. Look straight at your decaying body, your sluggish mind, your empty wallet, and your bleak future. If you have nothing, then your effort is obvious. It's not a choice, but a necessity. Because otherwise, you will be buried alive in your own procrastination.